The biggest revelation of the entire election happened yesterday.
Bombshell.
Bombshell! Anonymous has come out. We finally learned who it is. I'm sure he's the household name of, let's put that up there on the screen. Who is it again? Oh, right, Miles Taylor.
We gotta set, people may not remember all of it. We gotta set this up a little bit. Because when I saw Anonymous, I was like thinking about the hackers, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Remember? Right. So this was the guy who wrote the anonymous op-ed about how there was a resistance within the Trump administration.
And they called him a senior administration official.
Yes.
And there was speculation from Krystal and others at the time that Anonymous was Mike Pence or Nikki Haley or Dan Coates. This is real. You go back and look at it. But they all said that it was blown up as if this was a senior cabinet official within the White House.
Yeah.
It turned out to be the chief of staff to Kirstjen Nielsen at the DHS. That actually makes it sound more legit than it is. I know many people who are chiefs of staff to cabinet heads. It is actually more, it's not like a high staff position. You're basically like a little assistant secretary who runs around and goes around with them all the time. It's usually somebody in like their late 20s, early 30s. Not senior in any sense of the word whatsoever. To me, it's less about Anonymous, it's more of a media story. The New York Times basically lied to all of us whenever they're saying this is a super senior administration official. This is like the biggest story. You know, this is a real part of the resistance. CNN blew it up. Well, Mr. Miles had actually come out recently as part of one of these Lincoln Project groups, which is like, actually, no, it's dueling with the Lincoln Project for grifting money. But he came out.
Also signed with a talent agency.
He signed with a talent agency. You know. But he joined CNN as a contributor back in August. And they paid him, okay? And they asked him on their air whether he was anonymous. And this is what he had to say at the time.
There was an op-ed, there was a book by someone calling themselves Anonymous. Are you aware of who that is?
I'm not. Look, and that was a parlor game that happened in Washington, D.C. of a lot of folks trying to think of who that might be. I've got my own thoughts about who that might be, but, you know, I want my focus to be on the president, and I certainly don't want to. I wear a mask for two things, Anderson, Halloweens and pandemics. So, no.
Ha, 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 ha.
And here's the amazing thing, Krystal. Even though he lied on their program, let's throw Eric Wempel's tweet up there, they are going to keep him as a CNN contributor. He bold-faced lied to Anderson Cooper and their viewers on their air, and they are going to continue paying this man. I don't think it's like hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's something. It's a symbolic. I mean, you should probably fire somebody.
You're putting the credibility of your organization on this person.
Yes.
I mean, you know, if he gets to present himself as a CNN contributor or analyst or whatever, then you're putting the credibility of your organization on the line with the person who you now know lied directly to one of your top hosts and the entire viewing audience. The one thing I like about this guy is that he's like united everyone in their hatred of him for a variety of reasons. So that's the part about the story that I like. You know, one of the things, so if we go back to his original anonymous op-ed, he's one of these guys that you'll be very familiar with the critique. It's all this like norms and guardrails, and there's a lot of like, oh, he's too friendly with Russia in there, and he's chaotic. And then he says that this is the line that just shows you his critique of the administration is like all wrong. He says, don't get me wrong. There are bright spots that the near ceaseless negative coverage of the administration fails to capture. What does he point to? Deregulation, corporate tax cuts, and more military spending. Yeah. Those are the parts that he was like, this is amazing. And in fact, so Mr., resistance hero, which by the way, the resistance hates him too. And basically everybody hated him. Everybody thought it was ridiculous that he wanted to remain anonymous because think about the risks that a real whistleblower like an Edward Snowden, they put everything on the line. Like they put their person and their credibility on. I mean, absolutely. He almost did go to jail for the rest of his life. And this guy's out there signing with the talent agency. So everyone is sort of disgusted with this person except apparently CNN. But then we come to find out, okay, when you learn his role in DHS, it's like, okay, well, what policies was he involved with? Oh, only the most cruel and horrific, in my view, policy of the entire administration, the child separation policy, which we've now learned has orphaned at least 500 people. Did he raise any objections about that? Was he concerned about that? Did he write about it in his cute little op-ed? No. In fact, he was completely complicit in that. According to BuzzFeed News has a report about this. According to his colleagues at the time, he didn't raise any objections. He didn't have any problem with what was going on. He defended it, and he was looking for talking points for how can I better defend this because this is a bad PR story for us. So don't think of this guy as a hero. This is someone who saw an opportunity to do something for himself, and that's exactly where he tried to do
I tweeted this yesterday. He's probably the first author in history to benefit from being anonymous whenever he wrote his book. Because if anybody knew who he was at a low level, he actually wouldn't have sold anything.
Who cares?
Remember, he made a lot of money on that book deal. It was one of the highest selling books in the country at the time. I know we all forget, and there's all these idiot books all the time, but a lot of resistance boomers gave this guy a lot of money. CNN is paying him to lie on their air. And at the end of the day, the media is completely complicit in this. They won't tell you probably what you just told them. They'll be like, oh, Miles Taylor, he was a hero, and I'm sure he'll be.
It's very brave.
He was still on CNN's show last night on Chris Cuomo, primetime show. That's how good they are over there. I just think it's incredible that they built this person up, directed millions of dollars of resistance cash into his bank account, and it's just some loser like this. It's just unbelievable.
Tomorrow on Rising, Dave Trotter is going to discuss the tight race in the battleground state of Florida, and friend of the show, David Sirota, is going to be with us as well. Team Rising is going to be back. Democratic strategist Will Jawando and White House reporter for Politico, Gabby Orr, are both going to be here.
That's right. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Don't forget to like and share as well. Make sure to watch our election night coverage on Tuesday, November 3rd, starting at 9 p.m. We're going to have the latest results and analysis. We're going to have reporters from everywhere, from the Hill and battleground states elsewhere. Kyle Kondik and Ryan Grimm to give their perspectives on the night. You guys don't want to miss it. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you all tomorrow.